River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long.
All right, everybody, welcome to a Victory Monday episode of Niner Nuts. Technically a Tuesday, but Victory Monday for us. I'm Dan here along with Mr. Jimmy B. No Eric today. Jimmy, how are we doing?
Good. The Eagles just keep winning.
Yes, your Eagles keep winning, and we finally, after, 3-game losing streak, we have finally secured a victory that we will talk about in the back half of this over the Chicago Bears. I'm just trying to think, any housekeeping at the very top. Just wild week in college football. Congrats on my Hoosiers for making the college playoffs. I'm saying that not just because Eric isn't here, but I can't wait for that game against Notre Dame. And I don't know. Other than that, we have a game in 3 days. When you're listening to this, 2 days, because we're on Thursday Night Football this week. So we will figure out when or if the second episode will happen, or if we're just going to push it to Monday. We will figure that out and let you know. And no, I have not made a Blue Sky account for the show yet. So I think that's all the housekeeping I want to do up here at the top. So with that, here's our handy-dandy little timer that hopefully will be less glitchy than it was last week. 45 seconds for each of us to recap all the action in week 14. Once I get my own notes up, here we go. Because I can't talk off the cuff like you two have the talent of. So here we go with me. The very first game is the Thursday Night Football game. Packers at the Lions. Who has the biggest balls in the league? Those would belong to head coach Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions. It's 4th down and well within field goal range. Screw it. We're going to go for it. It was a huge win, huge conversion. One step closer for the Lions for home field advantage. It was a massive win. And, I mean, the Green Bay really tried to take advantage of how injured that defense was. But in the end, it was the Lions that came out on top. And not going to lie, I'm going to start cheering for them. If our team, I don't know. If the Bucs don't make it, I'm probably going to jump on the Lions bandwagon.
Yeah, so the memes relating to this are hysterical. The best one being when Chuck Norris goes to bed, he looks under the bed for Dan Campbell. So we finally found somebody that puts fear in Chuck Norris, which is cool. Hey, Eric. Hey, we're just talking about the big balls and Big Dan.
Yeah, I hear.
Yeah.
Yes. I paused the time. Listeners did not think Eric was going to be able to show up, but just a smidge past our normal start time. I'm glad you were able to make it, Eric.
Yeah,
glad you wore a nice shirt.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm trying to be super presentable today since I'm broadcasting from an undisclosed location.
Oh, okay.
Yes, James undisclosed, Eric undisclosed. No undisclosed for me. No episode if I can't go.
Yes.
Anyway, James, I will let you finish. Your 24 seconds left.
So yeah, I mean, can you just? It just seems unreal that this guy has this much confidence in his team, and his team pulls through with him. You know, and I mean, credit to him. I mean, like I said, man, Chuck Norris is scared of Dan Campbell. Like, that's just how it has to be. Like, so going for it, man, kudos to him, man. I mean, he's definitely, it's that mindset that I've always liked in coaches, being aggressive in those situations. Still me, I don't know if I would have done that, but hey, the Lions are rolling, and Dan Campbell's got the biggest balls in the league.
Absolutely. Eric, your thoughts on the Lions and the Packers?
Well, I mean, the Lions are clearly the class of the NFC at this point in time. No disrespect to your Eagles, Jimmy B, but I mean they're at the top right now. Eagles aren't far behind them by any stretch. But I mean, it just looks like we're headed toward the inevitable NFC Championship march of Eagles versus Lions, and that should be one heck of a game. Two teams that are really, aggressive and really push the style of aggressive football and really go for it and things like that. So, I look forward to what that looks like in a really competitive, tight, and important game to see who goes to the Super Bowl.
Couldn't agree more. It was a hell of a game to watch too. I was able to watch that whole game start to finish, and I usually don't watch Thursday night. Anyway, on to a quite less exciting game. The Jags at the Titans. I won't need all my 45 seconds for this. This game is my someone had to win this award winner. Apologies, I don't remember who was supposed to get it last week. I feel like I didn't do it. But let's be honest, with this score and the box stats, the box score for this game, I don't know who would have wanted to watch this, who enjoyed watching this. I feel bad for everybody that was in Tennessee for this 10-6 slog of an AFC South game. I don't know. It had to happen, but I don't know. I have no notes. I'm sure this game was terrible because, full disclosure, I didn't need to watch the highlights when I saw the box score.
So yeah, we need relegation. I've been preaching this now since we have these terrible teams, and just give us let's move up Oregon into the NFL. Let's move up maybe Penn State to the NFL. Let's just drop the Jags and the Titans into college football and let them compete with them. I mean, they're basically paying players anyway in college, so let's see if the donors can outspend NFL owners. So yeah, I mean. This is just a horrible NFL product that we saw on this Sunday. So yeah, relegation.
For me in this game, the Titans did exactly what they're supposed to do, which is lose the game. I mean, they're supposed to be tanking for draft picks. So, I mean, it's clear that Will Levis isn't the answer at quarterback. So what do? You lose games so that you can draft higher and hopefully pick the next quarterback of your future. The Jags can't seemingly get this right. There have been multiple occasions over the Jaguars franchise in which they suck and they have a terrible season. And then at the end, they go on like a little mini winning streak and bump themselves down the draft order. And this looks like maybe they're going to start doing that again. The Jags schedule is actually pretty easy and pretty winnable for the rest of the year. So who knows what's going to happen, but good job, Titans. You're muted, Dan.
There we go. I was saying right under the buzzer.
At least you don't have your little scroll going either.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is why we needed you for the show. This is
I'm the detail police.
Yeah.
There we go. Week 14. I just had to change that too. At least Jacksonville with their top 10 pick, it won't have to be for a quarterback because they paid Trevor and they can't back out of that now.
Yeah.
Trent Baalke should be fired.
Oh, I'd be shocked if he wasn't with Doug. I'd be shocked. Anyway, on to the Jets and the Dolphins. Jets at Dolphins. That's the way I wrote it. I actually...
Man.
Here we go. I'll give the Jets some credit. They did make the Dolphins force overtime to get the win. So they did have a little bit more fight this week than they have in the past. But the collapse is complete. It's officially rebuild time. And the endless speculation about Aaron's future with the team. With that, I just say, call me in April when he makes up his mind. Or maybe even August, because who knows when the hell he's going to make up his mind about his future. We've reached the point that it's officially time for the Jets rebuild. I'm glad the collapse is complete. And I mean, the future's in their own hands for the Dolphins. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't have paid much attention to this game if it wasn't on our ticket, but the fact that it was really got me interested in it. Miami pulling it out in overtime was great. And like you said, Dan, now what's next in the history of Aaron Rodgers? Well, we're going to have Aaron Rodgers watch for the entire offseason. Like that's what we're going to get. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be involved. That they'll be definitely a player in all of this. And, you know, we'll be on Aaron Rodgers watch. We'll be watching like private jets fly in and, you know, he's being seduced by all these teams and stuff like that. That's what we're about to get. So just be prepared for it.
Well, I mean, as someone who had this as their survivor pool pick of the week, I almost had a heart attack that the Dolphins didn't win this game. They should have just smashed the Jets completely out of there. I don't know why the Jets chose to wake up and actually be competitive this particular week. The Jets hadn't won in Miami in a decade. Aaron Rodgers hadn't had a 300-yard game in 35 games. I mean, like all of these factors were against them, and they just went ahead and did all of those things anyways. And almost pulled out the victory. So it was very heart attack inducing for me personally. But as you guys stated, we're officially on Aaron Rodgers' watch. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Who's he going to play for? What happens next? So, I mean, that's the story that's going to carry us through the entire NFL offseason.
If the Minnesota Vikings end up with him, we should just like, you know, wait. The next thing coming is Jesus. That's what it has to be. Like, Is
McDaniel's seat a little warm in Miami, do you guys think?
He just got an extension, so he won't get next year. He'll be hot. Next year he'll be hot if he doesn't get off to a hot start.
Well, the Dolphins always start hot, and then fade down the stretch.
True. His seat, not right now. I'd be shocked if he was fired, especially because he just signed this extension. Next season might be a different story, though.
What about this? What about this? Miami and the 49ers trade head coaches?
No, absolutely not.
No, but if the Dolphins like fade out, like if they lose, so what we got 4 more games, right? If they lose out like all 4 games, I don't know what their schedule is, and I don't have a way to look it up in my undisclosed location. But
they play us in 3 weeks or 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, like, what if they lose out for the rest of the schedule? I mean, you're probably right. He's not getting fired, but his seat like starts off really warm next season, right?
Oh, I completely agree. Consistently choking in December 3 years in a row now. Even with the extension, if it doesn't change again, we might be having a different conversation next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I'll agree there. So onward now to the biggest revenge game of the week, the Falcons visiting the Vikings. I couldn't even keep a straight face saying that. So much for that revenge game for Kirk Cousins. 4 weeks in a row now, or over the last 4 weeks, he has thrown 0 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, including this game. And then Sam Darnold on the other side reminded us that maybe about a month ago, he was still in consideration for the Comeback Player of the Year award. Maybe he's come back now after a 5-touchdown beatdown of the Falcons. I don't know for sure, but at least in Atlanta, I think it's time to have a serious conversation about Michael Penix, regardless of Kirk Cousins' contract. Like, this month has been atrocious, and now Tampa's ahead of them for the NFC South. Something has to change.
Yeah. I mean, Kirk Cousins collapsing under pressure. I mean, you know, this is
Christmas is in a couple of weeks.
This has been our lives for the last 10 years. You know, and just to be clear, Sam Darnold can't win Comeback Player of the Year due to the fact that they changed the rules, apparently. So,
it's injury instead of sucking.
It's injury instead of, you know, it's such BS because, you know, Sam Darnold's my guy. I've been wanting him to win the Comeback Player of the Year for like 3 years now. And of course, the year that he actually could be Comeback Player of the Year, they changed the freaking rules and, you know, Sam's out of it. So, but good for him for coming back and showing us that I still believe it. So.
You really can't win comeback player of the year for just having a great season after being terrible before?
Not
No,
anymore.
because Joe Flacco ruined that because DeMar Hamlin didn't get it because of him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that's real. I'll start your timer in a
real.
sec. That's real.
Like it's like, and the thing about it is Vegas didn't realize it for the longest time, and people were betting Sam Darnold to win comeback
Well,
player
yeah,
of the year.
because I thought we talked about it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
No,
they changed the rule
it flew under all of our radars. Yeah, you can't suck and get comeback player of the year now.
Oh.
It flew under everybody's radar, and then once like Sam Darnold, like, oh, everybody was like, oh, here, we forgot to tell you that all that money that you laid on Sam Darnold to win comeback of the player of the year, yeah, you need to get it back.
Yeah, so I won't feel bad when all the casinos lose for the Lions winning the Super Bowl because of how many dedicated Detroit fans put 10, 100, 50 like way back in April when their odds were like minus 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I mean, yeah, I'm constantly perplexed by the Falcons, to be honest. I mean, they have oodles of talent at all different levels on that team, and they just can't seem to put it together. And they've had a couple of different coaching regimes there, and they've had a couple of different, pieces and rotations through in terms of quarterbacks and stuff like that. And they just can't make it work. And I don't really understand why that is. So they seem to just be sort of cursed to just live in this area of mediocrity for whatever reason. So that franchise sort of befuddles me.
He's got to be the owner.
He seems like a good owner by all accounts.
I mean, he seems like a good guy. He wants to win, but I bet you he meddles too much.
Maybe.
I'm torn on that too because I'm on your side. I've only heard good things about Arthur Blank. But maybe all things are sus now when it comes to how bad they played the last month. Like but just objectively, and we'll move on. 0 touchdowns to 8 interceptions in the last 4 weeks. I don't care what your contract is. That is unacceptable.
Oh, I will be right back from my undisclosed location. Hang on. Proceed.
Yes, I can.
Room service.
I can take you off the screen too if that makes you feel better. I will tell him what the game is because James, we need to talk about next the Saints and the Giants. Another game has been decided by a blocked kick. Are you kidding me? What a year and what a time to be alive. I just feel bad though because another Saints victory has once again costed Derek Carr a little bit of time for injury. But on the other side, just like the Jets, now it's officially full collapse time for the Giants. It's time to rebuild. It's time to fire that GM and just write off this year, forget it, and just continue to regret that you let probably the best player that you've had since Eli Manning just walk out the door to your division rival.
Yeah, I don't think Eli Manning was as great as Saquon Barkley. Just to get that clear out there. Saquon Barkley has more talent in the tip of his pinky finger than Eli Manning had ever. So
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Giants are the Giants. They need to start thinking about rebuilding, drafting a quarterback, getting a new GM. All of this here. They have a good young wide receiver. They got, decent players on defense. I think a legitimate quarterback could get them back on the right track. And, I honestly feel bad for Brian Daboll because he's never had like a true quarterback there. And like they've given him, they took away his best player. And yeah, so, I think Daboll, if he gets fired, will get another chance somewhere. But yeah, the Giants are not looking good.
I'll piggyback off of you and say I agree. Daboll shouldn't be fired. I would feel really bad if he got fired.
Well, I mean, the Saints managed to pull out a win. I mean, the Giants are doing exactly like what I said the Titans should do, which is lose. I mean, at this point in time, you just want to tank for draft picks. I mean, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. These teams that are bad and have no future and have no quarterback and aren't set and aren't going to be going to the playoffs and doing anything, should just be losing. So the Saints are in cap hell. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So, I mean, I guess it's good for them to get a win, but yay for the Giants. I mean, they got the loss and stay high on the draft board, which is what they need to do.
Absolutely. And just real quick, would you agree that you would feel bad if Dable got fired? Because both of us would be. The GM needs to go, but we would feel bad if Dable got fired too.
So for me, it depends on how much decision he had in paying Daniel Jones. I mean, if he really backed that play and thought that Daniel Jones was really the guy and sort of championed that to the GM, then I think a lot of this rides on him. But if the GM was really the driving force behind that, then no, then Dabo just kind of got sold, a bag of goods there. And, that's not his fault. But if he, after seeing Daniel Jones play mediocre football for one season, thought that he was worthy of a $40 million contract and was going to turn him into a franchise quarterback, then I'd shove him out the door as well.
I will take Hard Knocks with a grain of salt because it sure as hell to them, or the Hard Knocks editors seemed like the GM pushed it, but we weren't in that room. So I'm curious. That is a curious question, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he got fired just because. But anyway, onwards.
Coach of the year to fired 2 years later.
Jesus,
Coach of the year a couple years ago.
Yeah,
no kidding. Anyway, onward to your game, James. The Panthers at the Eagles. We all talked about it. We all knew it was coming. Don't sleep on the Panthers. We all called that this could have been the sleeper trap game of the week. And lo and behold, it was that one pass close to being an upset game of the week. And, give the Panthers some credit. They fought against the second or top, depending how you feel, best team in the NFC. And then just congrats to Saquon Barkley for the franchise record. Like, you guys are still right behind the Lions. And honestly, like you said earlier, Lions Eagles might be the NFC Championship game. And if it is, that really could be a hell of a game.
Yeah, so all the love that Cooper DeJean got for man tackling Derrick Henry, well, he came up against a crafty veteran slot receiver in Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen just schooled him all single day. I kept saying, double this guy, because every single throw that was caught, it seemed like, was by Adam Thielen, and he was being covered by Cooper DeJean. So I was just like, I was going nuts. I was just like, can somebody please stop him? And finally, by the end of the game, they made the smart decision and said, Slay, you need to be on this guy because he's killing Cooper. So you're right. The Panthers had been playing better, and they showed some sign of life and almost beat the Eagles. Almost gave me a heart attack.
Panthers surprisingly feisty here down the stretch. Like, I don't really know what to make of that, as I haven't really gotten an opportunity or a reason to watch them play. But they've really been in games, and they've taken the last 2 or 3 games right down to the wire to the last play. So
that Bucks game in overtime.
Yeah. So it was Chiefs won with a last second field goal. Oh, look, I'm making a little thumbs up bubble. That's kind of cool. Chiefs won on a walk-off field goal. Bucks into overtime. Now you got Eagles here with a last second opportunity there. So, I'm not sure what to make of that franchise right now.
I don't know. It's too late for him to get Coach of the Year, but he's making Bryce look better, and you can't sleep on them anymore, at least for this last month of the season. We'll see what happens in 25.
No, they were easy pickings at the beginning of the season for a bet. You just threw down money against whoever was playing the Panthers, and now I wouldn't do that in any way, shape, or form.
The spread was -12 in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, you looked it up, right? They're -1 versus the Cowboys or something like that?
Yeah, they already have the betting lines open, or they had the betting lines open during the Chiefs game last night. And yeah, they're 1-point favorites against the Cowboys.
That does not surprise me. It does not surprise me. I would say that the Panthers at this point are a better team than that team in Dallas. Yeah.
Well, in about an hour, we're going to see how the Cowboys handle the Panthers, and that line will change depending on how that goes.
That gets McCarthy fired if he loses to the Panthers, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I don't know. Jerry may say, well, they're an up-and-coming team. Bryce Young has been playing better. I don't.
An owner not named Jerry Jones, yes, he would be fired.
Well, yeah, if it was an owner named not Jerry Jones, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I can't wait to see how that Simpsons broadcast goes. Anyway, we gotta move on to the Browns at the Steelers. The Steelers sure as hell were not going to have another Cleveland embarrassment of an upset on their record this year. And you know what? The first half was a little close. It ended at 13-7. And that beautiful highlight of Jerry Jeudy hooking up with Jameis Winston was a really cool touchdown pass. But Steelers clamped down as they should, took care of business. It's now a 10-win season for Mike Tomlin, one step closer to locking up the AFC North, upsetting the Ravens, and just watch out for the Steelers, man. Don't sleep on them. They've got it together. Everything's starting to click just right for them.
Yeah, I mean the Steelers are, we were like wondering, like, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, all of this, and they've actually put a really good season together and have surprised people by being on top of the AFC North. We probably knew that they might be a little bit competitive this year because they're always a little bit competitive every single year, but I don't think we saw them being this competitive, and taking on and winning the AFC North. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting in playoff scenarios with them in a home game, getting into the divisional round. Their season, it looks interesting. Who knows? They might be one of those outside bets that come out of the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really saw this kind of success for the Steelers. I have to admit they're kind of my AFC man crush right now. I mean, I like their style of football. I love their coach. I think that they're just they're not really like a fun team to watch because of the way that they play football. But I mean, they just go out there and knock people around and win football games. So I think that out of all the teams that you could come up against in the AFC, I think they're probably one of the scariest teams that you would want to play because they just win, and they win a bunch of different ways. They win with defense. They can score points on you if they have to. I don't know that if I'm the Bills or the Chiefs or whoever that I really want to play them in the playoffs.
I don't know anybody that wants to. Like, regardless, I completely agree. They could really. I would not be surprised if they made it to the AFC Championship the way they're playing. They
could very easily upset Buffalo in Buffalo. Like, that wouldn't be a surprise if they.
Yeah, I mean, weather's not gonna bother them.
No, weather's not gonna bother them at all.
So
it's weird.
I mean,
it's weird to use great and sneaky at the same time, like I just did, but they really are sneaky great. They could surprise some people and make it to the AFC Championship, and we not realize it until it's too late.
Yeah. What a weird Super Bowl that would be if it was like Lions, Steelers. Oh, what if it was an all Philadelphia or all Pennsylvania Super Bowl? Philly and the Steelers.
That would cause a lot of trash talking in Pennsylvania.
In the big, oh my God, a bunch of Yinzers and Eagles fans in New Orleans. Oh my God, that city will burn to the ground.
Oh my gosh, you're talking. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Steelers country kind of like trickles into like my area too, because it's still Pennsylvania, and so we get trickles of Steelers fans, and it's like. So like that's going to be a whole 2 weeks of talking trash to everybody. Like, there's just going to be so much trash talk going on. And
yeah,
you've sold me on that.
Sheets and Wawa and everything. Like, everything's going to come up.
Wawa.
Yeah, and both we're going to be tearing each other down. And I just, if that happens, so.
You've sold me on that.
It happens, but yeah.
And both fan bases are super passionate and travel extremely well. So I mean, it'd be really interesting.
Yeah.
God,
So
I'd feel bad. I'd feel bad for Lions fans, but I low key want that to happen. That'd be so funny. I would
Yeah.
love
oh
to
my
see that.
gosh, I mean, it'd be one of the craziest things ever. And it's you know, two teams from the same state have only ever played once in a Super Bowl, which was Super Bowl 25 between the Bills and the Giants.
Yep.
So, you know, it's something that historically doesn't happen all that often. So to happen again with, you know, two teams of this caliber, I mean, yeah, it would be such a great 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
And-
and you'd have the franchise that has like kind of like not, I mean, like decades of success in the Steelers, and then kind of like the Eagles, who are sort of like the new breed of success right now. You know, kind of challenging each other, and you know, is like the young upstart going to overtake the old, you know, the old champion or whatever, you know, that kind of thing.
I mean, it's still crazy to think that in like the last like 70 years, the Steelers have only had like 4 coaches, you know.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's insane.
That's insane to think. Like that they're just that good at picking coaches. That they like I think we've in the same amount of time we've probably hired like 5 times as many.
Yeah.
I'll mark this episode if that Super Bowl happens as like, hey, we low key predicted this. We got 4 more games to get through real quick before we talk about our game. The next one, not as exciting. The Raiders at the Bucks. Strangely up and down game. Very oh, that didn't start my timer. There we go. Bucks at the or Raiders at the Bucks. Strangely up and down game. Like just going off the box score and the highlights I saw. It was kind of odd seeing it was advantage Bucks. They scored 14 points out the bat, and then the Raiders came back. I think it was 14-10 at halftime. But then luckily in the end, the Bucks ended up on top as they should have. And the Raiders are now in full collapse mode. Now they get to decide if hiring that interim coach was worth it or not, because I would not be shocked if he was a one and done lame duck coach. But that aside, very proud the Bucks are now on top of the NFC South, even though a large part of that is because Kirk Cousins sucks right now. But just I don't know, my little crush on the Bucks can stay alive another week.
Yeah, you know, I would say you could give Antonio Pierce another year, get him a young quarterback, maybe get, you know, some new players in there, because going into the season with Gardner Minshew as your projected starter with Aiden O'Connell as his backup, like that's not a good QB room. The only thing that would lend me to say that he should be let go is the fact that that debacle that he had, you know, a couple of weeks ago with losing that game in the final seconds and just the players having no situational awareness. But yeah, time to tank, Raiders.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I might give him another shot. I mean, they seem to still be playing hard for him. To your point, Jimmy, I think he just doesn't have crap at quarterback. I mean, Aiden O'Connell died in this game too, so he got left with Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder is absolute garbage. So, I mean, now they're going to have to sign somebody off the street to back up Ridder for when he inevitably gets hurt as well. So, I mean,
I know, yeah, for a guy that flew World War II missions over France, like he can't play football.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Pierce just kind of got dealt a bad hand, and I mean, we all know. I mean, it doesn't take any sort of like expert prognostication or whatever that word is, but prognostinate. I don't know how to say that word.
Procrastination?
No, prognostination. You know what word I'm trying to say? Damn it.
Yeah.
Do I? Can somebody pronounce it for me? Because I don't know what word he's trying to say.
I can't say it any better.
You know, if you don't have any quarterbacks, you don't have a really good football team, and I think that's been kind of Antonio Pierce's thing this year.
Please comment on the video if you know what word Eric is trying to say.
I'm sure we'll get a good response. If we had more time, I'd get Google to say like prognostication or whatever.
Prognostination, something like that. Damn it!
I break my phone when I try to type permanent or restaurant. So I know I'm not gonna. I know my.
I cannot spell restaurant. I've spent 40 years trying to spell restaurant. I cannot.
Yeah, my phone and Google think I'm having a
Honey,
stroke
you
when
want
I'm
to go
typing
out to
either
a
of those
place to
words.
eat tonight?
Yep, exactly.
Also benefit. Literally, my phone thinks I'm having a stroke when I type benefit because apparently I just can't write benefit either.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if I have to ask for a permanent marker for the benefit at the restaurant later tonight, it's not coming. It won't happen. Anyway, we need to go on to the big NFC West battle of the day. The Seahawks at the Cardinals. This was a massive game for both of these teams, and the Seahawks certainly seized their opportunity to take a firm hold on the NFC West, at least for now. We'll talk about why for the next game. This was arguably the most important game so far for both of these teams, but the Seahawks were the ones that were able to take care of business, completely took the wind out of the sails of the Cardinals. Maybe now people will start calling them the fakes that we low-key were thinking that they were because they blew a handful of games and just looked terrible. But hey, welcome to the NFC West basement, Cardinals. There's plenty of room for you down here with us.
So, couple of things. I'm glad the Cardinals lost because it meant the Eagles got into the playoffs. And then also, low key, Jonathan Gannon. I mean, I'm glad you're feeling the way you dipped out of Philadelphia. I'm glad that you're going through this, and I hope you continue to have to give Kyler Murray homework that he won't do because he's playing Call of Duty. So yeah, keep losing Arizona, and then Jonathan Gannon will probably float around as a DC the rest of his career because I just don't see a type of guy like you run through a brick wall like Dan Campbell or Sirianni or one of these other coaches. He's just not that guy.
So the takeaways for me are the Cardinals' black uniforms are fire. I watched a little bit of that game, and those uniforms are awesome. I really dig those a lot. They should wear those as many times as they can. Those are sweet. I want to thank Kyler Murray personally for getting the ball back there with about a minute and a half to go in the game and picking up some garbage time yardage to keep my bet ticket alive for tonight. So thank you, Kyler Murray, for that. Really appreciate that. And then third, I mean, I think the Cardinals have something there, at least like a little bit of a foundation with the pieces that they have in place. I don't know, to your point, Jimmy, if Gannon is the right guy to put it all together, but I think like they can make something work maybe over the next year or two.
They certainly could. The NFC West clearly, well, unless we rebound and get our control of it back, but it's I don't know if the Cardinals can stay down for all I care. That's my thoughts on that. The threat to the Seahawks though is our next game. It is the Bills at the Rams. Damn. Who saw this coming? 44 points from the Rams. I think they're healthy now. And 42 points from the Bills. We expected that for sure, but in a loss? Wow. Seattle needs to be worried about this next matchup with LA because they do have one more left, and now it could decide the NFC West. Especially with us playing the Rams on Thursday and probably going to lose. Spoiler. But the Rams certainly showed that they have the weaponry now that they're healthy to make a surprise wild card push, if not outright take the division from the Seahawks.
Well, I think this knocks the Bills down a peg, and definitely, a couple of weeks ago, the Eagles went into LA. LA needed a win. Eagles stomped them. Same here. LA needed a win. Buffalo was coming off high. And, yeah, they just went out there and smacked the Bills in the mouth and outdueled them, And, I wasn't really paying attention to this game for a while because, for a while it looked like, the Rams were just going to run away with it. And then the Bills got back in it. Watched it, and then my heart was broken, and so was my wallet. So, yeah, I mean, Rams and Seahawks, that'll probably decide the division.
I mean, to me, this game is a great example of like quarterback play in the league, right? We've talked a lot about the bad teams in the league and the good teams in the league, but in this game here, you had two quarterbacks. You had Stafford, who, even though he's an old, veteran in the league, he's still really, really good. And then you have Josh Allen, who is really probably going to win MVP this year, playing in this game as well. And it just shows you how much a quarterback means to a franchise and how much having a good or a great quarterback really elevates the team and lifts the team and makes the team better. And that's why some of these teams are just dreadful, because they don't have that in their roster.
Completely agreed.
Which is a nice lead into our game.
Yeah. After we do have one more game left.
Oh, is there one more?
Yes, it is the Sunday night football game. Then we will talk about our game. It is the Chargers at the Chiefs on Sunday night football.
So sick of the Chiefs.
Death taxes, and the Chargers losing a heartbreaker to the Chiefs, because they don't get blown out by the Chiefs. They always lose a damn heartbreaker to them. 15 games in a row, and 10 in this season alone, Kansas City has won by 7 or less points. The three-peat threat is real. We're at threat level 1, whatever the military phrase for that is. The Chiefs just keep winning ugly games and close games. And honestly, that is a massive threat to the rest of the league, because that is a hell of a talent to have to win in close scenarios like that. That's deadly for everybody else. So the three-peat could happen.
I think if the Chiefs come up to the Steelers, that the Steelers are going to beat them in the playoffs, because there's no way they can keep this crap going. This is just utter and pure BS what the Chiefs are doing, and they're going to run into somebody. I think this, if they meet the Steelers, because that's quite the possibility, they're out of the divisional round automatically, because they're I saw this last year with the Eagles. We were winning stupid games like this all the damn time. It's not sustainable. And I'm sorry, the Chiefs just aren't as good, and they're winning by these crazy ways, and they're going to end up out of the playoffs. No three-peat for me.
I mean, I keep saying it, and I've said it all season long, so I'm going to stick with it. Until somebody beats the Chiefs are going to win. So I hate saying that, and I hate being on board that train, but until someone knocks off the champ is the champ. So, I mean, like you said, Dan, heartbreaking loss for the Chargers, but the Chargers always find a way to charger things up, and that's just what they do. It's Mahomes, again, back to what I just said about having a great quarterback, right? A great quarterback elevates, takes your team to another level. Mahomes has made that team and that franchise something otherworldly, and he continues to elevate them week after week after week.
It just irritated me to no end watching it last night. We'll get to our game. I just need 10 seconds. It just is so frustrating to just being on our end of it, with the personal losing 2 Super Bowls to them. I don't know. I'm more on your side, Eric. I get where you're coming from, James, that no, it's not sustainable, but guess where they're going to play the Steelers? They're going to play them in Kansas City, because they're not letting go of that number 1 seed. The AFC West drew a great straw with the schedule makers. That's why the Chargers are in this. That's why the Broncos are in this. And the Raiders just are the Raiders. But there could very well be 3 AFC West teams because their schedule sucked. And Kansas City is going to get the number 1 seed because of it. So I would love to see a Pittsburgh Steelers upset in Kansas City. But that's the thing. It's going to be in Kansas City.
Well, I don't, we've seen over the last years, Buffalo can't win in Kansas City in the playoffs. We already know that. So I don't see anything different happening this year.
They can't beat Kansas City in Buffalo in the playoffs either.
Yeah, exactly. So I still, I would give the Chiefs over the Bills in a heartbeat. I just don't think the Bills will beat the Chiefs in the playoffs because they've been their daddy the whole time. But the Steelers, I don't know, they're just that type of team that smacks you in the mouth, and I think that they would be perfectly happy going. I don't think it would scare them at all going to Arrowhead and trying to beat up on the Chiefs and sneaking out a win. I really wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And if I'll say it right now. If it does happen, I think the Steelers come out on top. That's how I feel.
I would sure love to see that happen, but we will get there obviously inevitably, because I feel like that. I'll agree with you. I think that's how it's going to go. But we all need to keep rolling on merrily into our game. Eric, you missed us at the very top. We are actually celebrating a Victory Monday. We had not just a win over the Bears, but good Lord, we had a beatdown of the Bears, 38-13. Just to go over my quick nerdy numbers, like I always do. Brock Purdy, 300 passing yards. It's nice to see that happen again. 2 touchdowns, no picks, only 1 sack. Isaac Guerrero, it was a rushing game bonanza. Guerrero, 78 yards and 2 tutties. Even Patrick Taylor got in 1 tutty as well. And then all we needed was George Kittle and Juwan Jennings. 13 catches, well over 200 yards. 2 touchdowns for Jennings. And Guerrero, most of his catches came on 1 pass, but 50 yards for him too on the ground with 78 rushing. It sucks he has a foot sprain since we play in 48 hours. But but on the other side, Caleb Williams. Oh, yeah. He somehow had 100 passer rating, which is incredible given the way he played. Only 134 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. No running game to speak of whatsoever from DeAndre Swift. And, I mean, Rome Odunze got some fantasy playoff push with 2 touchdowns, but otherwise pretty pedestrian passing numbers. But here's the big number right here. We had a 7-sack game. I don't remember the last time we had a 4-sack game, to be honest.
And we did that without Bosa.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, the Bears are on pace to break the sack record.
Sacks allowed record.
Well, sacks allowed record, yeah, which was held by David Carr. Like, what was that? 72 sacks in a season or something like that.
Something wild, yeah.
Yeah, they're on that pace. And the 49ers are generally, good on the defensive line, but they really haven't been this year. And so for them to come away with 7 sacks, I think says more about the Bears' offensive line than it does the defensive line of the 49ers. And so I don't know if you can take the over on Bears sacks, but you might want to.
You always want to dig for the most wild things on DraftKings. I love it.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always ask us for the most wild things to look up. Like, is this on DraftKings? Like, what? Where would I find that?
Yeah.
But no, that's a good segue into my thoughts on this game. Like, it's not really a lot of thoughts I have about the Niners, more so than I have about just what the hell happened to the Chicago? Like, you fire a team mid-season and maybe you don't get that much better, but holy crap, the wheels fell off the car for Chicago this week. We should not have been as competitive in this game as we were. We should not have sacked Caleb 7 times. We should not have had 300 yards passing. I'm happy. I'll take the win because we're probably going to lose to LA the way that they just beat the crap out of the Bills. But wow, what the hell happened? I'm very, very happy. It was a nice little rebound for us. And sure, there's I heard David Lombardi say in the locker room there was an air of desperation in the team meetings, and sure, maybe that played a part of it for sure. Like, we actually looked like a great team again, but we're still in the hole. We're still probably going to end the year. Like, maybe Arizona will collapse and we'll get 3rd in the NFC West. But I don't know. I'll celebrate this for the 48 hours left that I can before our Thursday night game, I guess. But I don't know. Chicago's got to be having a lot of soul-searching meetings. They're not technically eliminated from the playoffs yet, but after this, they might as well carry themselves like they are.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this game Full disclosure, I was decorating Christmas cookies while this game was on, so I had an eye on Christmas cookies and an eye on this game.
So we're getting Christmas cookies soon, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, perhaps. So I mean, I didn't really expect this game to go this way at all. I mean, we talked about it in the preview show. I'm stunned to see that the 49ers got 7 sacks. I saw them getting pressure on Caleb the entire game, and I just didn't think that they would be able to do that without Bosa. They had proven the last couple of weeks without Bosa in there that they haven't been able to get any pressure and disturb the quarterback. And, Caleb plays well when he can just stand back there and take his time and see what's happening and make throws. Is when you put him under duress that he plays poorly. And that's exactly what happened in this particular game. As we put him under duress. I mean, this, we got the 7 sacks up here. We don't have how many pressures he actually had, but I mean, he was pressured a lot in that game as well. And it shows up and it reflects in what he did in this game.
Pressures aren't on here. Never mind.
No. So, I was very surprised by that. And then offensively, we were able to move the ball against this, supposedly really good Bears defense rather easily. I mean, we ran the ball fairly well. Garendo had, 5.2 yards a carry there. And he was doing his thing and generating some big runs every now and then. Kittle was just running all over the field, wide open, getting open and plowing over people and getting extra yards. Jennings was playing well and playing with the high energy that he always plays with. So, I mean, it was just
Jalen
really
Johnson could not cover Jennings at all.
Yeah, which, I mean, like, he's their guy. So, I mean, it was just really surprising to see. I just didn't expect that out of this 49ers team. And, I mean, if this is the 49ers team that we're going to get for the rest of the regular season, I'm back to being more interested. I mean, they're going to make it fun down the stretch then, I guess. It certainly would make the Rams game on Thursday night way more interesting than what I thought it was originally going to be. I'm certainly more intrigued by it now than I was previously, because previously I sort of just chalked it up as, like, I thought this game was sort of a 50-50, like, Bears might win, Niners might win. But I thought against the Rams, we were definitely going to lose. But now after this particular performance, yes, the Rams went out and played really well against the Bills and beat them. And we got absolutely ass blasted by the Bills. But I mean,
Blizzard notwithstanding.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can go into LA with our backstory against them and all the matchups that we've had against them and the coaching that we have against them. And I think if this team plays to this level against the Rams, I think we can give them a run for their money.
If Garendo's foot sprain is not that bad, maybe like that really scares me. Cause it may not be that bad. It doesn't sound as bad as what happened to Mason or Christian, but on a 72-hour turnaround, any injury is bad. So
inject him with a bunch of painkillers and get him back out there.
Yeah, that's what Fred Warner does. Like, he's been playing on a broken ankle for 2 months.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm still really disappointed in Debo. Debo is having just an absolutely trash season. I don't know what it is with him. Maybe it'll come out towards the end of the season that he was playing hurt the whole season and trying to play through something or something like that. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why he's so terrible, but he's just absolutely...
He literally will only be on our roster next year because if we let him go, we have to eat $30 million in dead money. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's just so bad this season, and I don't understand why that is. Well, you know what? Having him on the roster next season might not be a terrible thing because it'll essentially be a contract year for him. So maybe he'll play really great to try to earn a new contract with somebody else. Like, I don't really know, but he's just absolutely terrible this season. He's just so non-existent in like every game, and I don't understand why that is. So did I not harp on that last week that he got 4 catches for like 3 yards a catch though, and then his run game is non-existent now. Yeah, I mean, just like all the things that made him this ultimate weapon he's nothing now, and I don't understand it. I mean, losing Ayuk shouldn't have diminished him so significantly. So I don't know. Like I said, maybe at the end of the season something comes out and he was playing with some sort of crazy injury all season long that really took him out of the game. I don't know, but there has to be some explanation for how bad he's been, or Kyle should just I don't know. I mean, like, put friggin' Pearsall in there ahead of him and give him more reps and give him more run or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Ricky's not ready, but I mean, like, he could certainly do better than 2 catches for 22 yards, I would think.
Ricky has done better than him. Like, no, he only had 1 catch for 5 yards today, but I don't know. Like, I trust whatever he's thinking. Like, clearly we're okay in the passing game between Kittle and Jennings, and then throwing out of the backfield to Juice, and we'll see with Isaac, but yeah, no, goddamn, like I want to try to keep this positive. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you though that Debo, like, if we didn't, I don't know, maybe John will eat the money and say, like, dude, like, you the cost of eating 30 million over the next 2 years is worth opening this roster spot because you are adding nothing. Like, maybe he'll do that. I'm not going to bet on it.
Well, I guess it depends on what you can get back, right? I mean, like, what are the free agent receivers to be out there? I mean, you know, who can you possibly go out and sign if you...
Is Juwan going to hold out and demand money? Because he certainly has been playing like he deserves more than 7 million a year or 10 million a year.
Yeah. But I mean, and I wish I could pull up Spotrac and look at it to see what the outs are on Debo's contract or whatever.
If we cut him, it's 30 million. Like, it's what it is. I looked at it before, trust me.
Yeah. So, I mean, but, you know, could you bring in somebody else who's going to be a free agent receiver and, you know, replace him? And, you know, maybe it's worth doing that. Or maybe you just trade him away for, you know, a 4th round pick or something like that, and, you know, free it up that way. I don't know. There's things that you could do, but I mean, I know he's a big team guy, and I know that he's part of the culture there and everything like that, but you can't continue to have a guy perform at the level that he's performing at and pay him what you're paying him. I mean, it's just not sustainable.
What do you think of Hufanga replacing Jair Brown? Like, do you have any thoughts on picking between the two of them? Like, I was impressed that Malik Mustafa impressed enough as a rookie to still be out there with Hufanga instead of Jair Brown, personally. Like, I don't obviously I'm not in the defensive meetings, but when I noticed that, when I finally got the game on, I was like, oh, that's Mustafa still out there. Like, so clearly we know the pecking order of safety now.
Well, so I mean, I like Jair Brown a lot. I think he brings a lot to the table. He bumbles up in coverage every now and then is about my only disappointment with him. Is that, like, there's been a couple of games where guys go deep over the top of our defense and it's always at him. So that's probably my only real criticism of him. But at the same time, Hufanga is not great on deep coverage either. So I don't know that he necessarily brings anything that much better to that aspect. Hufanga probably plays the box a little bit better than Brown does, but I don't know that we need, if we can get Greenlaw back, I don't know that we need another guy.
Allegedly, Greenlaw's playing on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know that we need another guy that can really be in the box, you know, playing down low like that. I think we need just another traditional safety to just kind of stay up high. We just need Brown to stay in coverage like he's supposed to. So that would be my only real criticism of him. But like I said, I don't think Hufanga really brings that much more in coverage over him. So and Hufanga misses tackles. So
yeah,
I think Brown's a better tackler.
He identifies the run lane very, very well, but making the tackle, yeah, that's when he's sadly 50-50.
Yeah, because he's always just
Yeah.
like leading with
I
the
almost
receiver.
thought you were going to say he identifies as a linebacker and not a safety or something like that.
They love lining him up to blitz because he'll hit a quarterback fine, but if for some reason running backs are 50-50, I don't know why. But with that, we're at our time. Some of us have to make some dinner. We have
Some of us have to go find dinner.
yes.
We
I'll say it here again. We're gonna figure out if we're just going to next Monday or if we can squeeze in time for another episode. If you're listening to us live, we haven't decided yet because Thursday Night Football always throws us off. But anyway, we need to thank our sponsor who has still been with us for almost 2 years, Royal Retros. What is Royal Retros? Is your go-to place to get yourself an authentic throwback jersey. Whether you're a football fan, a basketball fan, or a fan of any of the major sports, Royal Retros has you covered. Go ahead and check out the Candlestick collection. It's curated with us Bay Area fans in mind. And when you find something you like, use the promo code Shady Sports, and you'll get 10% off of your entire order. With, again, the promo code Shady Sports. That'll get you 10% off of your order at royalretros.com. Go get yourself an authentic throwback jersey today. James, we are selling T-shirts. Let the people know why, where, all the good stuff.
So, guys, for about the last year, we've been selling T-shirts to raise money for Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers, which is a shelter in Kentucky that helps those who have been victims of very serious abuse. And so we do this because basically there was a Houston Texans minority owner who got charged with very serious sexual crimes in Kentucky. And the NFL sat on it and didn't tell anybody for about 3 months. Yet, we all know, week 1, when Tyreek Hill got pulled over for a speeding ticket and handcuffed, we all saw that within, an hour after it happened? So the lack of owner accountability by the NFL is not there. And the NFL has said that owners are supposed to be held to a higher standard than players. But we're calling them out. And we're saying that's not happening. We have T-shirts that we're selling. First up, we have our statement, which is owner standards are less than player standards, #owner accountability. You can get that in different colors, different sizes, and different styles. $22.99 starts there. Next up, we have our podcast logo art. If you watch us on YouTube, if you listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Odyssey, wherever you listen to us, you will see this in the profile picture. $22.99 gets you that in a T-shirt. We have different styles, different sizes of that. Next up, we have the alternate logo. I have this shirt, very high quality. $22.99 gets you that in a premium tee, or we got different sizes, different colors, different styles. And finally, our mascot. How can you say no to a peanut eating peanuts while sitting on the couch, cheering on his San Francisco 49ers? Donate to Mountain Comprehensive Centers today. All the proceeds go to them.
Yeah, more information on them and the actual link to the Bonfire Store, again, are in our show notes. As for little news bits that we always close the episodes with, didn't look up one offhand, not going to lie. Oh, Eric, you didn't hear me say congratulations to IU, Ohio State, all the Big Ten teams. Well, I just call that IU, but lots of Big Ten in the college tournament. I'm very excited to see my Hoosiers play the Notre Dame Irish, and you are playing the Volunteers, right, Tennessee?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it today.
Oh,
all I know is Alabama.
I've been traveling all day today.
Alabama is not in the college football playoffs, which is crazy to see.
It's the first time in like a dozen years, right?
And they had 12 teams this year. That's even more ludicrous. That's the thing. Like previous years, it was 4.
You are hosting it's like whited out. You are hosting the Volunteers.
Okay. Well, I mean, Ryan Day will probably blow that game. He sucks.
Probably. I don't know. I guess. Well, everyone's gonna be listening to this afterwards. I hope the Simpsons broadcast goes very, very well. And I guess just in case there is not another episode, Thursday night, Al Michaels and Kevin Herbstreit on Amazon Prime. We'll try to keep up.
Go ahead, Dan.
Oh, hey,
yeah! Woo! Oh, it's a party! It's a party! It's a party!
Does that happen on my end?
Party going on! What?
Are you on a MacBook or something?
I am on an iPad. Yes.
God, that's so funny.
That's so funny.
That
was amazing.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I see that happen in iMessages on my iPhone, so I was just curious. God damn, that's so funny.
Was amazing. Hey, I need 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 50 yards out of Chase tonight to hit my 13 leg parlay for this week.
Oh wow,
dude.
So
let's get
all I
that
gotta
tonight.
say is, if we're not doing the parlay episode, make sure you take Jalen +1 passing, anytime score, Saquon over 100 yards. And this week, who we playing? I forget who we're playing.
Steelers. You're the Tom
Steelers.
Brady game of the week.
Yeah, take Steelers +3.5 in the first quarter.
Yeah, you're the I none of the rest of them are out yet, but you are the Tom Brady game of the week on Fox. Steelers at Philly.
So
yeah, it's going to be a good game. But
Super Bowl preview, maybe.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
funny enough, yeah.
I would say take Steelers to win the first quarter. That should be a bet.
Because you still can't score in the first quarter for some reason.
Yeah, I think the whole season we score 17 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, no, how funny that we were talking about them as a Super Bowl preview and they actually
played the Panthers and still couldn't do it. So
let me just make sure I didn't speaking. Yep, nope. Steelers at Eagles. Yep, we that must have just been on our mind subconsciously. But anyway, we got to get out of here. We will keep you posted if we do another episode. Like I said, Thursdays always throw us off, but yeah.
Outro
James?
music, River Road, Justin Youth.
Go Niners.
Let's do our best to beat the Rams. We'll catch them when we catch you.
River Road, you got me running way back home. River Road, you got me running all night long. You got me singing some canal boat song. River Road, you got me running all night long. River Road, where have all the women gone? Have they kissed her hand and waved you bye-bye? Have they thought about crossing your double yellow lines? River Road, they love the way you wind.